Starting off with the first one, and that one being the 1000 hit combo. I'm sure a lot of people know about this one and it speaks for itself. There's a trophy in God of War 3 that demands you get 1000 hits in combat. At first you might see this and you might go, hey, an enemy might die with just 50 hits, how am I gonna be able to do that? Now there are some ways of getting it. For me the best way was to use the claws of Hades grapple. You do a lot of hits with it and it does not kill the enemy. That's the good thing about it. That's how I got it. So go ahead and get it. The word shit. Now this one was in the old Greece mythology games, let me tell you. And it's certainly a weird one, so let's cover it. Okay, so the trick is to hit an enemy 5 times. That's how you get the word shit, lads. Thanks for watching, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Drop a like and subscribe. Boy. Now this one is widely known in the community. It's basically just Kratos calling his boy. It's one of the most known memes ever right now. But where did it come from? How is it that he used it throughout the entirety of the game? Here's the answer. The developers used it because they still hadn't found a name for that boy. Hence why they called him Boy. They didn't come up with a name up until later on in the game. That's why Kratos kept calling him Boy. Feed it to the fish. Feed what to the fish? Oh, just feed Mimir to the fish if he does not come back to life.
If she can't bring it back to life, can we keep the head?
No, but you may feed it to the fish.
Hard to open chests. This one was talked about ever since the first game came out. People were saying, how is a God of War struggling to open a chest? And it got answered, and I still can't believe people took that seriously, because it was probably a joke around the community. So I don't know how it got taken seriously. Kratos can destroy a chest. My man can flat out eat the chest, beat it, kick it, make it turn on his pinky finger. But you know why he's not doing that in the game? Because it wouldn't be fun. There, that's the answer. No, seriously, I still can't remember exactly where it got mentioned, but I think Cory Barlog himself said that it wouldn't be fun. Because if they went with that logic, the game would have been the shortest game in the world. Like, it would have been a 1-hour indie game. So yeah, that's why he's struggling to open up chests. No God of War 3 New Game Plus. This one pisses me off to this day, because I've been playing God of War 3 for a long time now, let me tell you. And I still can't believe it does not have a New Game Plus. Like, how and why? Huh? God of War 1 and 2 had a New Game Plus, and they came out before God of War 3. Even Ghost of Sparta and Chains of Olympus had one. How come God of War 3, the best in the series, does not include a New Game Plus? That pisses me off to this day. I got behind the weapons and unlockables in the game with a glitch that allows you to have all the equipment from the start. But then what about the unskippable cutscenes? What about speedrunners? Like, I can't believe I cannot speedrun my favorite game of all time. It hurts, man. Still not fixed, even after the remaster of the PS4, not even with the remaster of the PS5. Why? Why? Aphrodite 3 times. Kratos is the mad lad who mastered the art of something called testosterone. And he can do the deed for some simple amount of hours, and basically, if you do the deed 3 times in 2 of the God of War games, it rewards you with something. For example, in God of War 3, you get more than just red orbs, mommy. Oh, you get something called the Aphrodite Garter that allows you to keep on using the Blades of Athena after finishing the game and starting again. Or in Ghost of Sparta, you do it 3 times and you get the Spartan Kick. Kills the enemy in 1 hit. For some reason. Venomous Leviathan. This one was clearly in front of our eyes, but we missed it because we were all awestruck from seeing the monstrosity that is the world serpent. But when Kratos threw his axe to the lake and the serpent ate it, it got imbued with a little bit of something called Ether. Now what is Ether, you ask? Ether in Norse mythology is a type of primordial ooze that all life stemmed from. Ymir the frost giant popped up out of this goo when time began. Jormungandr's stomach is full of ether, which is supposed to be very, very deadly. So it's basically poison. Also, in Norse mythology, Thor dies right after killing Jormungandr, the snake. But shortly after the word serpent dies, Thor dies as well from the bad smell. You guessed it, bad smell coming from the word serpent's belly that has the venom in it. So you kinda see where I'm going with this, right? Kratos' Leviathan got imbued with ether, meaning in God of War's version of Ragnarok, Thor dies with the Leviathan. How? We don't know. What is it? An inevitability. Is Kratos gonna be the one to kill him? We don't know. First, we don't know how. Like, is Thor gonna be taken out with a twist? Or just a normal Leviathan swing? We'll have to wait for Ragnarok, man. I don't know. The cycle ends here. This is the line that spoilers ahead. 3, 2, 1. Kratos says at the end of God of War 2018 to Balder right before snapping his neck.
Why? Why do you even care? You could have walked away.
The cycle ends here. Must be better than this.
Somehow, some people, I guess people who haven't played the older games in which spoilers for God of War 2, double tap the right part of your screen right now. 3, 2, 1. Zeus says the same thing as he's penetrating Kratos with the blades of Olympus in God of War 2.
Thus, the cycle ends here.
Yeah, so Kratos basically quotes his father. Square, square, triangle. Square, square, triangle is the same as the cycle ends here. It's a thing in the community, being that everyone and their mother use this move a lot from God of War 1 up until God of War 3. Some people even God of War Ascension. And that's that for the tip of the iceberg. Next up we have the surface. Continuing towards the surface, first we have God of War 2 Colossus chants. Okay, not a lot of people know about this, so here goes. The God of War 2 theme that plays while you fight Colossus is actually chanting for Colossus. That's why you are the villain. Such beautiful craft from Corey Barlog, man. Just great. Basically, the game is telling you that you are the villain. In a beautiful artistic way, of course. But you just keep on playing and slaying and playing. Yeah. God of guest characters. Kratos is widely known for his guest appearances in games. Mortal Kombat, PlayStation All-Stars, of course, Soul Calibur, but there are still some guest appearances that people might not know of. For example, a 2D game called Shovel Knights. We'll be back for this one later on the iceberg. There's a twist to it. It's not just a cameo. Mod Nation Racers. Right? Fortnite. Yeah, but seriously, Fortnite. Everybody's Golf. Little Big Planet. Of course, Hurdle Turtle, another 2D game, and many, many other cameos. There's a cameo in Mafia of all games. So yeah, Kratos is in a lot more games than you think he is. No more blood. Title should be clear. In God of War 2018 we don't have as much blood as the older games, which sucks. God of War 3 gives you a fountain of blood for doing anything and it was amazing. In God of War 4 there is blood, but not so much. There ain't enough blood, cuz. Yeah, in God of War 4 there is blood, but not so much. And I mean not so much. Like you only see blood once and it's when you fight Balder at the start, which is nothing but red dots on Kratos' body. How did we go from this to this? Kratos literally gets stabbed and no blood comes out. My man's a vampire now, I guess. God of War 3 New Game Plus glitch. I feel like not a lot of people know this, but at the same time a lot of people know it somehow. This is like the best glitch known to men. So on the tip of the iceberg, I did say that there is no New Game Plus in God of War 3, right? Thankfully, there was a glitch that got found back in the PS3 port of the game that works for the PS4 and PS5 remastered versions as well. You basically go to the combat arena, select the difficulty you want, die more than 5 times in a row. Then this menu pops up when you die for like the 15th time or so. You select no and it takes you back to the main menu where you can hop into a new game and start with all the weapons. Sadly, you only get that. No cutscene skipping. But this is still one of the best glitches of all time for me because I've been playing with this New Game Plus ever since I found out about it. Such a cool glitch. Barbarian King. Somehow, some people never played God of War 1. Somehow. So they might not know the complete story of the Barbarian King, so here goes. It was a battle between the Spartans and the Barbarians. Barbarians had the upper hand. The Barbarian King, or Albric if you would, was 2 seconds away from turning Kratos' head into a smashed up Hercules head. Then Kratos cried, "Ares, destroy my enemies, and my life is yours." And that's when Ares saved Kratos from dying, gave him the best weapon known to man. Kratos kills Albric with the blades. And by killing, I mean rips his head off. And I mean, imagine. This barbarian could have ended Kratos right then and there. Poosh, the end. Like we would have missed all of the games that would come after God of War 1. And that was the end of the Barbarian King. Or so you thought, bitch, because he comes back as a Dark Souls boss. Yeah. He's replaced his head now, and he's gonna have your head. Modern words. This is something that we started seeing in God of War 2018.
I can enhance her for you right now if it so pleases you, son of a bitch.
Swearing.
How about I name her fucking Gratitude? Hey, fucking Gratitude, come over here.
Dragon shit is powerful?
Talking like a modern human being living in 2020. Yep, there are still more though, later down in the iceberg. Infinity Gauntlet. Now, back to the Infinity Gauntlet. God of War 2018 had the Infinity Gauntlet, going by the name Shattered Gauntlet of the Ages. Very, very powerful. And you could add enchantments, the worst thing in God of War. Enchantments being the replacement for Infinity Stones in the Avengers. You can add them on the talisman to make it function like the Infinity Gauntlet. It is beautiful. You are gonna love it. Trolls. The trolls were reused a billion times in the full game, which sucked, and the reason behind it was budget. But I want to talk about something, and that thing being how Corey said that they could not fix the health bar issue, so they had to give them a boss fight health bar. No. You could have done the same thing you did with this enemy in God of War 3 called the Bronze Talos. They could have just made the health bar change by making the troll's skin color change colors, if you catch my meaning. For example, the troll would start fighting you with an armor first, then he loses it. Then you see that he has a crystallized skin that changes color depending on the damage that he's taken somehow. And boom. Also, even if you don't add all these stuff, like what happened to no health bars in God of War? Why did they have to change that? I don't get it. Why did they think a health bar was a necessity? Like, I don't get it. But anyways, that's how they would have fixed it, or they could just use this idea now for God of War Ragnarok. Chronological order. Not a lot of people know the chronological order of the games, so here goes. It goes God of War Ascension, God of War Chains of Olympus, God of War 1, God of War Ghost of Sparta, God of War, I'll get back to this later, God of War 2, God of War 3, and God of War 2018. That is the chronological order of the God of War series. Helios' last words. A lot of people did not really know the meaning behind Helios' last words in God of War 3, when he said, "Save me now, as you once saved me from Atlas." And it's clear why people didn't understand, because again, not everybody played Chains of Olympus, where Kratos saves Helios from Atlas. Yep, that's what he meant right there. So go ahead and play Chains of Olympus. I know that I've spoiled it for you, but come on, the game is like 10 years old by now. Breaking fourth wall. At the end boss fight of Ghost of Sparta, Thanatos breaks the fourth wall by saying,
You are nothing but a pawn in a game you don't even know is being played.
And pretty much, yeah, Kratos is exactly that. Next up we have Drawing Near Pandora. In God of War 1, right before you reach Pandora's box, there's a painting on the ground depicting what happens in the near future. A mortal fighting Zeus. We all know who that mortal is. And now guys, this has been the surface level of the iceberg. Now, onto the shallow waters. The Lake of Nine, about to get deeper. Coming up first on this level is, you should ask your wife. Now, I'm not talking about the viewers, sorry for sounding so hostile, but this is my man Kratos straight up violating the Smith Hephaestus for like no reason at all.
That is a question you should ask your wife.
Like, you just got finished fucking a man's wife, then you have the nerve to whatever. Coming up next is the ass of Zeus. Yep.
To catch a fly from the ass of Zeus is not worth my time, Hermes.
Sugma jokes.
None yet.
Nanya?
None your fucking business.
Kratos' immortality. Kratos is immortal, yes, but exactly just how immortal? And I don't mean how much immortal is he, I mean what kind of immortality does he possess? No one knows really. Everyone just says he's immortal, but in reality there are two types of immortality. We're gonna use two Dragon Ball characters to compare here. Spoilers for Dragon Ball Super in 3, 2, 1. An immortal body, like say for example Zamasu from Dragon Ball Super, where he literally does not die. Like, it doesn't matter, even if you cut him in half, he does not die. That's what I would like to call a PMH immortality. What is PMH immortality, you might ask? I just made that up, but I made it for reasons. PMH's abbreviation would be Physique, Mind, Heart, Immortal. As in, he's immortal in all kinds of ways. Slice him into millions of pieces, he recovers. Perform a spell on his mind or heart. It stops, yet he still lives though. That's the PMH immortality that Zamasu possessed. And then there's what I can assume as Kratos' type of immortality, which is more like Master Roshi in this matter. He's immortal when it comes to age. Like, he's gonna live forever, but maybe a hard enough punch might still kill him. Slice Kratos in half, he might not die, but I'm pretty sure another sword to the head still kills though. Basically, this is the basic immortality that I believe Kratos has, and sadly not the PMH immortality that, say for example, Zamasu had. So yeah, that's what Kratos' immortality means to me. If you have other thoughts, just share them in the comments. Bald Atreus. A God of War 4 demo surfaced after the game released in 2018, and it showed a bald Atreus when they were still testing out the game in 2015, that is. That's not where it stops, because it might also be the future of Atreus to start balding at some point, like his Da. Bird in Helheim. We all saw this gigantic bird sitting in Helheim. We even got a closer look while we were on our way out of Helheim on the ship. This guy was going to be a boss in the 2018 game, but was cut due to budget and got replaced with a troll. That was still fun, but come on. Like, I can imagine how much better the game would have been. This bird would have, of course, been much better than that stupid troll. But maybe in Ragnarok somehow, because the director did say that you will be visiting all the realms in God of War Ragnarok, so we'll have to see. Mobile Java game. Remember when I said God of War In the chronological order not so long ago, God of War Betrayal is a 2D Java game, a very old one. I remember playing it on my Nokia X3. Yep, good times. There's still even more about this game. Please keep watching. Aphrodite is alive. After Greek's destruction, someone was left unchecked, if you know what I mean. Actually, other than just Afro, what about the other two gals that were still unchecked? You need anointment, just set up an appointment. Who's gonna see the doctor first? We'll do a coin flip. I'm the f***ing God of War. Pretty much.
Fine. Lambs, Chris. I'm a fucking God of War.
It will get you laid.
You should play God of War because it'll get you laid.
Are you dumb, stupid?
Basically, this clip right here is, it's... I mean, I read a comment saying it took 10 years, but it worked. Stop this, just stop. Apollo. Now, this is a guy that we never saw in any God of War game for some reason. All we got from him was a statue in God of War Ascension, nothing in God of War Chains of Olympus, nothing in God of War 1, nothing in God of War Ghost of Sparta, nothing in God of War 2. We acquire his bow in God of War 3 though. We also get his armor in God of War 3 though. And that's basically it. Such a shame, man, cause come on, this is Apollo we're talking about. Guess they had their reasons, I don't know. Artemis. Artemis, the twin sister of Apollo, is not completely like Apollo. She does appear actually. In God of War 1, she gives you a sword that you can use, so that's a bit better though. But still, you don't actually meet her, so that's that. Oh, and I guess you do use the Blade of Artemis in the online of God of War Ascension, but we don't really talk about that, Holmes. Uncharted Easter egg. In God of War Ascension, if you collect all the artifacts, you get a trophy saying, "No, Drake, you can't have these." And of course, Drake meaning Drake from the Uncharted series who collects artifacts and old stuff. Pretty cool Easter egg if you ask me. Guys, this is where we conclude the shallow waters level of the iceberg. Next up, or should I say next down, the depths. Now we're diving even deeper down to the depths of Hades. And first we have Baldur exposing Kratos. This is the start where you go back home with Atreus and Baldur knocks on your door talking some funny business. Even got Kratos worried. Baldur was talking about some stuff that referenced some other stuff when he was actually not talking about them. All the lines that he said ranging from,
I thought you'd be bigger. Long way from home, aren't you?
also,
And here I thought your kind was supposed to be so enlightened, so much better than us, so much smarter.
what some people who played the old games might not know is, the first line he wasn't talking about Greek gods being bigger. He mistook Kratos and thought he was a giant, because that would be logical, you know, Faye was a giant. The second line also wasn't talking about Greece. Long way from home meaning you're far away from Jotunheim, land of the giants. Again, mistaking Kratos for being a giant. And the third line goes the same. So enlightened because the giants are more enlightened than the gods, better than the gods, and smarter than the gods. What first time players thought about throughout this whole conversation was Greece. Because Baldur made it look like he was talking about the Greek pantheon, and it pretty much felt like two neighbors talking smack about each other. But no, he mistook Kratos being a giant and all that good stuff. Kratos is Tyr. This one right here was one of my favorite. Was one of my favorites. There was a theory going around saying Kratos is Tyr. How he's kind of trying to stop the wars going between the realms. Not really. How everything that Tyr did, Kratos is doing right now and all that good stuff, but no. God of War Ragnarok came out and smashed that theory to the ground because that's Tyr right there. He's alive. And tall. Zeus was the gravedigger. The gravedigger that was in God of War 1 and God of War Ghost of Sparta is none other than Zeus. How? He calls Kratos son throughout Kratos' journey. Okay, no, seriously. In Ghost of Sparta you can collect red orbs in the combat arena and unlock stuff in the Temple of Zeus. Using said red orbs, after unlocking everything in the temple opens up an underground place and you run down there and get a shovel. That shovel is the gravedigger's shovel. And then you can go back to the combat arena and select the gravedigger and boom, you get this. Yup, and then after seeing that, every cutscene of this gravedigger starts making sense. And that's that. Coming up next we have runic cancels. People, well, a lot of people at least, play God of War 4 for the story and stuff. They might love the combat a little, but the combat has more to it. Runic cancels, animation cancels, and much more. You can make the game a lot faster than what you think it is. The game becomes timeless with these mechanics. Try them, master them. Been saying that for a while now. Seriously, if you're not using runic cancels or animation cancels and stuff, you're really not playing the game for its full potential. Who called the serpent? This one is still unknown. Some say it's Loki from another timeline. Some say it's Baldur. Why? Some say Tyr. Some say Kratos somehow. Some people are also saying it's Heimdall, in which, wow. Truth is, nobody knows who it is. If you've seen the video which Corey plays God of War, and even when he gets to the part where the horn gets blown, he kind of starts talking about some other subjects and starts talking a lot.
It's looking like he is doing everything he can to steal himself.
Somebody just called the
Like, he is not an effusive, emoter, but this right here, this kind of, he can't fight this.
Completely dismisses it. Man's a genius. So we're gonna have to wait and see in God of War Ragnarok. Early Kratos designs. Here's the list of early Kratos designs from the first game's character graveyard after you finish the game. For people who haven't seen it, I'm going to show you guys the character models in a descending way. So starting from the last and going down until we reach the first ever Kratos design. Because it's just so funny, you should see it. Kratos version 5. Blue tattoo Kratos. They was about to actually release the game with this tattoo color. It was blue for a while in development, but they changed it, thank God. Now it's the red we all know and love. Kratos version 4. Cool armor Kratos, aka the soon to be Dominus armor in God of War 3. They even said that it looked pretty good, and they might use it later on, which is beautiful. Cause they did, they brought it back in God of War 3. Kratos version 3. Dreadlocks. This was the design of their first art director. Then they tried to support it, but it just did not work. Man is just not good enough to be the God of War hero we all know right now. Medieval warrior. This guy was too medieval for the ancient Greek setting, so they changed him. They did like him though, but no. Version number 1, and you guys are gonna love this. Giant in a diaper! This guy can see John Cena. This guy gets all the bitches in the hood. In this guy's world, 77 plus 33 equals 100. This guy sneezes and does not close his eyes. This guy has eternal youth. This guy lives on through our hearts. When Zlatan Ibrahimovic visits this guy, he's the guest. This is one of the few people Eminem is scared to diss. God of War featuring Giant in a diaper. Hades aiding Kratos. Now this one I find very weird. How is Hades helping Kratos in God of War 1 after all the events that occurred in God of War Chains of Olympus? Weird, right? Like, why would he help Kratos after Kratos just got done killing his wife, the Queen of the Underworld? This one is very, very shady and unclear, and it will most likely stay that way, sadly. Egyptian mythology. There was a trailer or a teaser that surfaced maybe like 2 years after God of War 2018 came out. Everyone thought it was a God of War Ragnarok teaser. Little did we know it was supposed to be a trailer for God of War 2018 Egypt. But then they scrapped it. Thank God, because I love Norse mythology a lot more than the Egypt mythology. God of War 2 Lost Levels. This was a post I saw a couple of days ago on Reddit by the user Rickroll, boy! I love them, they look pretty good. Wish they get the Colosseum. I don't know. Looks like a really nice and fun gimmicky boss arena. But that's in the past. God of War 2 is still the masterpiece that it always has been. Quote, dead Kratos. At the end of God of War 2018, Kratos sees a painting on the wall about what's presumably him dying in the arms of his son, Atreus. A whole lot of theories out there about this, saying it's not Kratos, it's Mimir. Somehow. Some say it's Tyr. Some say it's future Loki. I recommend you, if you still haven't, I recommend you go and watch Captain Cuba's videos. Not just for this theory, for every theory out there. Him and John Ford, these two make super nice videos. I'm sure y'all watched them already. So let's move on to the next thing here. Next thing being ash fading. Kratos' ash is slowly fading over time. Corey said it himself.
Is the ash that covers Kratos fading over time?
A little bit.
God of War Betrayal was canon. The mobile game that I've been procrastinating throughout the entirety of the iceberg is finally here, again. And this time it's canon. It takes place after God of War 1 and God of War Ghost of Sparta. And here's the plot. Kratos was leading the Spartan army in a rampage across Greece. During that, Kratos is attacked by monsters led by Argos, who was sent by the gods to stop Kratos. Argos gets killed by an assassin. Kratos keeps on pushing to find out who the assassin is. Hades tries to slow down Kratos with his minions. Zeus sends Syrinx, Hermes' son, to deliver a message to Kratos. Basically a stop right there message. Kratos disagrees and kills him. The assassin runs away. Zeus is pissed. Kratos is pissed. The end. Bit of War. Another 2D game that you might not know of is called Bit of War, made by Homemade Games, and is free for PC. This one is not canon though. The story for this one is long, and this video is long enough, so if you want to know how the story goes, visit the wiki, or maybe even download the game. It's fun. Atreus is strong. Now when I say strong, I mean hella strong. Like this man wiped out 30% of the Dark Elves race while Kratos was gone. Man absorbed a full power Baldur, unlocked potential Baldur punch right in the ribcage, got up after seconds and said,
Not my blood.
yeah, no shit. At this point we really gotta believe that he helped pushing the hammer with Kratos, like for real. Boat Captain. This guy's running gag. The human being. First we meet him in God of War 1, take the key from him and let him rot in Hydra's belly. We see him again in God of War 1 when Kratos dies and goes on a vacation to the underworld. Meets the guy in the afterlife and still treats the captain like shit. Have you guys seen the subreddit F*** you in particular? This is basically what's going on here. Then again, you meet him in God of War 2, you're fighting Alric, and Alric starts summoning these servants of some kind, and he tries to summon again and the boat captain comes out and goes, no. Not you again. And you still kill him. It's like death was the worst thing that happened in this man's life. Now you might be thinking, hey, it's over, right? No! In God of War 3, you don't quite meet him, but there's a letter for you to read left by the boat captain in the underworld. He could have saved me. He held my life in his hand, and still he let go. I may have been just a mere boat captain, but he treated me as if I was nothing. He is to blame for my torment here. I hope he suffers in Hades, as I have. Damn that Ghost of Sparta. This is pretty much the Batman Joker situation where one can't live without the other. Except in here, Kratos keeps on roasting the man by killing him. So Kratos is the Joker here, pretty much. Next is God of War Ascension. A prequel! This man cannot rest, even before he met Kratos. It's like he was always doomed to have some bad blood between him and Kratos. In Ascension, you collect an artifact called the Boat Captain's Idol. And that's how the Boat Captain got done. Even in God of War 2018, he's still not resting in the peace he so crazily craves for. Yes, even in God of War 2018, man. Like imagine all those years and still. This time in a treasure map and also his ship. How it got into Norse, no one knows. When the captain died, one of his crew members took the ship that he had and boom, it's in Norse, somehow. Blades of Chaos coming back. I'm not talking about the blades coming back in God of War 2018, whoa, that's crazy. We all know that. I'm saying why the Blades of Chaos and not the Blades of Exile came back. Because we all saw Kratos losing them when he was fighting Ares in God of War 1, so how are they back? I mean, in the comic Fallen God, it showed us that Kratos was cursed with these blades. They always come back. But then how come we never saw the Blades of Chaos in God of War 2 or God of War 3? Well, here's my theory for that, I guess. The blades, all of them, Chaos, Athena, Exile, are all the same. They are all just variations of the Blades of Chaos. Meaning Kratos never really completely lost them in God of War 1. He simply picked them back up after the battle with Ares. Or maybe they followed him, who knows. But maybe they were broken, so Athena upgraded them for Kratos and renamed them the Blades of Athena. And then she did the same thing in God of War 3. They were broken again, she fixed them again. Renamed them Blades of Exile. My favorite. So yeah, that's what I'm making out of this. Make sure to share your thoughts in the comments down below. I don't know. Baldur flipping the bird. A modder found out that Baller flips the bird on you after you snap his neck at the start of the game. Pretty cool Easter egg the developers included, and I'm all here for it. God of War Ascension Future Prediction. In God of War Ascension, there is a painting on a wall before you reach the cistern. If you interact with it, you'll see that there is a mashup of letters written on the text box. NeoGAF members figured out that if you change the language, the letters change. It gives you some kind of a code, and you can basically interact with some tiles on the ground near that painting. And if you interact with the tiles in the correct order that the message gives you, then when you return to the painting, you'll see that it changes into a picture of Earth right here. And below it's written, when the Earth stops, the journey begins. And this is a clear God of War 3 reference where Kratos kills himself or attempts to kill himself in God of War 3. But I kinda love how it says that's where the journey begins, as in God of War 4's journey. Love how they predicted that. And that's it for the depths level of the iceberg. Now on to the deepest level of the iceberg, the abyss. This is the lowest level of the iceberg, also the darkest, and the weirdest. I just want to say, if you made it this far into the video, I honestly can't thank you enough. Thanks a ton, make sure to subscribe to see more content. Enjoy the abyss. Starting off first, we have Cory Barlog got fired. This theory was and still is somehow being thrown around. People are speculating, saying that Cory did not just leave, he got fired or some other weird stuff. Some people think that's the case because of all the bad stuff Cory said about Neil Druckmann in The Last of Us 2. You guys remember that whole time, right? I myself do not agree with this, like, for real? But nobody knows. I mean, it could be true, who knows really? Mimir betrayed or will betray Kratos. This is very dark as the Dark Elves. Some theories are around saying Mimir betrayed Kratos and Atreus when they were gone for some time in Jotunheim. I mean, we know Freya came up to him and asked him for his wings and stuff, but that's just the betrayed part. Some people are saying he might betray Kratos in the future. Future meaning God of War Ragnarok. Also, people think that way because of the writings on the dead Kratos painting at the end of God of War 2018 where it says, "Death, Father, mourned, betrayal." And everyone's thinking Mimir is going to be the betrayer, and let me tell you, I would hate it if it turns out to be the truth. I love Mimir. Out of all the characters that we know, let's hope it's not Mimir that betrays Kratos. Storm when Atreus got mad. This is the part after Atreus finds out he's a god, where he starts screaming and throwing a tantrum at Sindri. A split second after boys scream, Midgard gets covered with black clouds and it starts raining and a huge storm covers Midgard.
Yeah! We're sick of hearing about little people's little problems!
Alright. That hurt a little.
Me and everybody else first thought this was Midgard reacting to Loki's anger and all that. But no one's sure about that because it could simply be the wrath of none other than Thor, the god of thunder himself, who was beating Modi's ass at the time these events happened, so we don't know for sure. Deimos at the end of God of War 3. Before we start, just a heads up. Deimos is Kratos' brother. Now that that's out of the way, you can hear Deimos at the end of God of War 3 if you stay in the lake long enough. A really cool Easter egg.
Spartan never lets his back hit the ground.
Dickless Cyclops. In God of War 1, if you visit the character graveyard after you finish the game, you can interact with all the scrap designs for the characters. And if you interact with this model of Medusa and read about what happened through the development, you'll find out that they originally planned a penis for the Cyclops, but they had to remove it. They got to keep the nipples for the female monsters, but they lost the penis on the Cyclops. Quote, "We lost the penis on the Cyclops." Poor Cyclops. Shovel Knight Kratos cameo was canon. We're finally back to Shovel Knight, the game I mentioned at the surface level of the iceberg not too long ago. Here we're back to it, and it's canon, confirmed by Cory Barlog himself. In Shovel Knight, when you confront Kratos, you don't just start brawling straight out the gate. Kratos has a story to share with you. At the start he's confused and he thinks that it's a test from Athena. Then the two start fighting, and when you defeat Kratos, you don't just kill him or something. No, he just gets on his knees and declares defeat. But it doesn't end there though. Kratos gets back up and the game doesn't take this part in a serious manner at first, but then later on, after Kratos starts calling you the ghost of shovels, Kratos says, "My fate lies elsewhere," and gives you something that sort of changes your shovel and makes your shovel operate like the blades of chaos, somehow, and leaves. You wanna know where he's headed to? Norse. I love this so much. I was kinda surprised when I heard it was canon. But here we are, it's canon and there's nothing we can do about it. Mimir is Odin in disguise. I couldn't find a lot of info about this, but some theories were going around saying Mimir is Odin in disguise. Saying how even after Ragnarok we did not see Odin and all that stuff. Basically like the whole Ragnarok trailer, they still didn't show Odin. I don't know really, I don't see it. Tell me what you guys think about this down in the comments. Is Mimir Odin in disguise? Who knows? I don't believe it personally, but maybe. Who knows? But Zeus apologizes. This is one of the creepiest and darkest thing here in this iceberg. Captain Cuba has already made a video about this, but there are still people out there not aware of this. So apparently Zeus was going to apologize to Kratos right before dying, but it never made it to the end game. Here's the clip.
Kratos, my son. I'm sorry. Release me.
You heard it. Zeus apologizing, and of course, here comes the theories. How Captain Cuba explained this mystery was really great. I loved it. We'll be back to this later, but here's what happened. After the Great War, Zeus moved all the evil energy to Pandora's box, and Athena put the power of hope, a power stronger than the evils of the Great War, inside the box, just in case someone opens it one day. Spoilers, Kratos opens it. Kratos opened it, got the power of hope, the evil power consumed the gods, Zeus, heavily, and here's where the theory comes in place. People were speculating that Zeus would have been a great father if it wasn't for the evil powers consuming him and controlling him. So that's why he apologized, because the evil powers left Zeus after Kratos knocked him into the rock, right before starting to beat his face into a pulp. But I think Captain Cuba put this theory to its best place by addressing something that people forgot, and that thing being, Zeus was always evil. He was always a bad guy. He imprisoned all the titans in the underworld for one mistake of one titan, and many more horrendous things, cursing Kratos' mother to turn into a monster if she exposed Zeus. Very, very bad and evil. That's how I can describe it. The evil powers of the Great War just made it worse. That's all. And yeah, I agree with everything Captain Cuba said. God of War 2 Atlas cutscene Easter egg. This one's pretty cool, and again, I'm sorry I can't recall where I found this one. I think it was Captain Cuba again. If not, sorry whoever found it, but here goes. In this Atlas cutscene right here, there's a pretty good, or I should say, the best detail of all gaming, in my opinion. Okay, so right before Zeus' storm hits the landscape to stop all the titans, here's something I need you to watch. Alright, so I'm sorry for the quality of this video. I got it on my PS Vita, but I'm really sorry for this quality, but this is all we got. See this right here? This storm that is about to get down? You might think it's gonna wipe out the whole titans, but no, actually. If you look closely, you can... Look, I'm just gonna pause right here, look. If you can see this titan right here, is gonna have like a shield around him, like a barrier. Right there, see that green barrier around him? Same with this titan right here. Like these two are protected. This is the protection that Kratos gives the titans when he goes back in time to get them to his timeline and for the God of War 3 events to occur. Even that titan right there, see right there, he kind of gets protected and not killed. Like even all the titans right here, see? Before getting there, before they ever get wiped out, they get protected. Even this right here. See this green barrier around him? It's the same barrier that you're gonna see around Gaia later on at the ending of the game. This is just my favorite detail in any video game ever, period. Like, nothing can beat this for me. Like, how can you think about this, man? Corey is seriously a genius. Like, you cannot see this. right here. Like, it's so subtle. Like, see that green just appears? It's so subtle. I can't believe after all these years there's still a God of War Easter egg going around. It's just crazy. And there's pretty much my favorite detail in any game ever. Just great. Thank you whoever found that out. I freaking love you. Freya's secret. Now I'm not talking about Victoria's secret. I'm talking about Freya's secret. This one right here bugs me every time I hear it. Okay, so let's say Freya knew Kratos is a god, no mistaking it and all that good stuff, right? But exactly how much does she know about Kratos? I mean, don't you guys think it's pretty weird how, and hear me out on this one, how does she know Kratos' name? Like right here at the end boss fight before we whoop Baldur's ass, how does she just come up and say,
No, back off, Kratos, this has nothing to do.
And Kratos never told her his name. This and also another thing, we still don't know for sure what she might have done to Atreus while Kratos was gone. Also how fast she figured out a cure is insane to me, which or not, that's crazy. These two have to be answered in Ragnarok, because Corey said nothing is put in place without any reason. Like everything, every inconvenience has a reason. So we'll have to see in God of War Ragnarok. Atlas posed the destruction. Okay, so this is another guy that some of us forgot about after God of War 3. What about Atlas? Man was holding Olympus on his shoulders the entire time. Where is he now? Imagine, out of nowhere, Atlas, alone, standing there still, holding Olympus. Does he know everyone is gone? Is he even still there to begin with? I guess this goes down the list of stuff we'll never know, now that we're past God of War 3. Surrender Kratos. Alright, I was today years old when I found out there's this Easter egg in God of War 1. Okay, so in God of War 1, if you press the interact button next to this red orb's chest, then on this pile of dirt close to the gravedigger, and then return to the start of the bridge and press interact again, you'll see this in the sky. Pretty amazing, right? I learned that today, like literally today. How did they include this? How did anyone find this? The Destroyer of Worlds. I was today years old when I learned about this one too. Like, how are you supposed to know this, man? It's insane, but here goes. Okay, so in God of War 2, if you press the interact button on top of this star on the ground right here, then another one right here, and if you step on the button and cross the bridge and press the interact button again, you get this. I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. How can anyone know that? It's crazy. How do people find those things, man? I'm pretty sure there has to be a developer who knows about this, who contacts his friend, tells him do this. Like it has to be that. Like, who just thinks, nice star, let's press the action button on top of it? No one. Evil Kratos smile. In God of War 1, there's a section in the game that demands a sacrifice. And this is what happens. This is also what you saw when you were a kid.
Break these bones. Get me out of here. What are you waiting for? Let me out. We can find our way back to Athens.
The gods demand sacrifice. From all of us.
Oh, please. No. No.
Yeah, pretty brutal and villainous from Kratos. Now here's a version that you're gonna see if you play the PS3 or the PS Vita version of the game. Bruh, the evilness in that smirk right there, man. Son of a bitch. Freaking scary, man. Yeah, back to where we were. They changed it because Well, it's pretty obvious why. I mean, look at that. This man begs Kratos to not kill him, and Kratos just... Yeah. Some people just want to see the world burn. This guy had the worst day. And the last day.
My vengeance ends now.